All right, Katie, thanks very much. Ask anyone where they were the morning of September 11th. Most will tell you precisely when and how they learned about the attacks. We've asked 5 people to describe their experience that morning: a flight attendant, a mayor, the husband and wife who designed the Oklahoma City National Memorial, and a man who was working in the South Tower. The second one hit 3 floors above the point of impact.
I arrived on the morning of September the 11th, 2001, a beautiful fall day, blue sky, gorgeous day. Our offices are on the 84th floor of the South Tower when suddenly, apparently it was at 8:46, I didn't check my watch at the time, there was this just tremendous thump.
My morning commenced as would any morning of a person about to travel to New York. I'd completed the packing of my bags the night before, so I got up and got dressed in travel clothes and had both bags in my hand and was about to walk out the door when a emergency phone rang, and it was an aide who said, "Turn on your television, something is going on in New York."
I was working a flight from Frankfurt to Philadelphia, took off, very uneventful flight, when the captain called me to the cockpit. He said that the United States is under siege of attack. Aircraft have been hijacked.
I remembered waking up to Tori's phone call from Florida, where she was visiting one of our good friends, frantically telling me something that I just didn't make any sense, and that was that one of the World Trade Center towers had been hit by a plane.
Just stood there and in shock and just not believing that that could really be happening, and just horrified that it was happening.
I could see nothing but swirling flames right outside my glass. And then there was an announcement from the Port Authority. Your attention, ladies and gentlemen, Building 2 is secure. There is no need to evacuate Building 2. Use the elevators to return to your office.
We immediately contacted our state emergency system. We contacted the Federals. We contacted the FBI. We contacted the Coast Guard. We contacted the Air Force.
Eventually, they said, we're going to go to Halifax. Don't say anything to the customers yet. Just let the crew know what's going on. Normal procedures.
Boom, boom. There was this double boom, boom, and our floor just fell apart. And very suddenly, there was this sensation of the whole room torquing a bit, and then the building swaying all one way, one way, one way. It felt like yards. And for that 10 seconds, I was terrified.
I felt really rather alone, and so I decided to go downtown where I knew there would be lots of people hanging out, where I knew they had TVs, and where I knew that, you know, I could somehow almost seek haven.
It's kind of a unifying experience, even though you don't go out and talk to your neighbor about it right then, but you know that everyone else is seeking shelter and you're in it together.
We went down only 3 floors when I heard a banging on the wall, and I heard this stranger's voice calling from within the 81st floor, "Help, help, I'm buried, I can't breathe, is anybody there?"
So, of course, we landed. Captain parked the aircraft, and he proceeded to tell them what had happened in the United States.
I lifted away some debris, but this wall was immovable, and I said, "The only way out for you is over this wall. You must jump." And he jumped, and I jumped together, and I sort of reached over and somehow got under his arm, and out he came up over, and we fell in a heap on the floor. He gave me this great big hug and kiss, and to kind of break this clench, I said to him, I said, "I'm Brian." He said, "I'm Stanley." And we got up and kind of dusted ourselves off, and I said, "We'll be brothers for life."
It wasn't frightening, actually, because I had a job to do. You act, and then you react later.
Back we went to the stairs, and all the way down to the plaza level. Desolate, empty, looked like an archaeological site, white ash everywhere. And we were just staring at awe in this, didn't know what we were looking at.
In a certain way, the folks here in Oklahoma City have almost been through this. I mean, certainly not to the scale of what happened on September 11th, but that feeling like, oh my gosh, you know, the day's just starting, and you know, what's going on?
We ran a block south to Trinity Church, and Stanley, I can picture him looking through the fence, through the trees, up at the tower, and he said, "You know, Brian, I think that tower could come down." And I said, "There's no way."
It was very strange to watch a tragedy just happen right in front of you and see everyone's responses to that.
My children in New York haven't to this day recovered. I didn't know how incredibly personal what occurred in New York is being taken by so many New Yorkers.
What's happening?
You know, you're just looking and you're reading. It's like you're just, is this a movie? It just felt like you were in a movie.
The reality is it's happened. And life, as much as it's about beautiful, happy experience, it's also about tragedy. It's also about loss.
I got on this ferry and we went around the bottom of the island. We could see the site of the World Trade Center, and there were no towers. Nobody on the ferry boat could believe this. And it went totally silent.
I had visited the World Trade Center on multiple occasions, and to find them not there, literally as if they had never been there.
The most impacting image from September 11th are the faces. You know, it's the photos of those who are missing, but it's also the photos of those longing for their lost ones. It's the faces of the rescue workers who are having to sift through the rubble.
Yes, there is something to be learned and appreciated, frankly, from September 11th. The incredible resiliency of this nation and the people of this nation.
For me, just as impacting is what happened at the Pentagon or in the countryside of Pennsylvania. It's not just the Twin Towers. You know, it's about what happened to the country. It's about all of us.